You're listening to Authors First on the Artists First World Radio Network, artistsfirst.com. Tony K in the studio. Thanks for joining us, everyone worldwide. If you're an author, independent recorded artist, or have a great idea for a weekly show, we'd love to hear from you. Simply follow the links provided at artistsfirst.com. This hour, it's my privilege to introduce author Yvonne Swinger, author of Lord Help Me in This Place. For your convenience, we have her web link provided at our homepage. It's simply www.yvonne Swinger, SWINGER.com. Let's give a warm Artist First welcome to our guest. How do you do, Yvonne?
I am great, Tony. I'm excited and glad to be here tonight.
Yes, it is exciting for me as well to meet you because I believe that those that have a message they feel compelled to write in the way of a book have something to share. And it's a difficult task for most without the proper training, and obviously to become really good at writing, you have to do a lot of it. Yvonne Swinger, how did this love of literature, writing, where did it begin for you? Were you a child being read to, or did this love of literature come later?
Actually, I have been writing ever since I was a child. I just love writing and reading as well. And a very creative, innovative thinking child. And so Lord Help Me in This Place actually got started as I was just basically writing a journal. Had no idea that it would turn into a book, or I would even find myself even publishing a book.
So
but it started out.
Yeah, so journaling or keeping a diary, I think that's a great idea as a gift to get your child interested in writing down their ideas.
Right.
And for you, you've enjoyed it and stuck with it, and I think that helped create the ability to communicate your ideas.
Right. That's correct. And that's what I was doing, communicating my ideas, writing them down, each and every day. I would come home excited about what I was going to journal for that day, and it became a book eventually.
Now, do you have brothers, sisters? Tell us about your parents and your family background.
I have a small family, immediate family. I have two kids, a son and a daughter. Well, they're grown, of course. And one grandson who is 3 years old, full of energy. But I came from a very large family. My parents had 10 children, and I am the youngest of them all. And both of my parents are deceased now, but they inspired in all of us a heart that loved people and do for people and to help people. It's something that I have with me today.
The youngest of 10,
10.
Were there groups of children by age, 3, 2, 4, or how were you spaced?
Well, Tony, there was no twins, but they were like 1 year, maybe 2 years, but I am like the last one. I have a brother that's 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody was basically grown by the time I came along.
And other interest in literature, the arts, music, in that family dynamic?
I have siblings that's music. I have a brother that plays the guitar as well as the piano. Sisters that sing.
Well, but they were already grown when you were coming up, so you really didn't have as much involvement. Of course, all families have involvement, right? Some
Right.
children are more attentive to the parents than others. Some have their own independent lives, and that's okay too, right?
Right. Well, actually, yeah, you're right. They were grown, and my playmates were their children. So I played with my niece and nephews because we were like almost around the same age.
Yeah, like you would have been cousins or
Right.
yeah.
And we had to tell people that because they couldn't understand why the aunt was younger than the niece and nephew.
Yvonne Swinger, our guest on Authors First. Tony Kay in the studio. Thanks for joining us, audience worldwide. All the broadcasts available in MP3 format. So after you listen to the broadcast, be sure to share this wonderful author's information with everyone you know on your social network sites, Facebook and Twitter, and have a good time with all the broadcasts on Authors First. Yvonne, your background, I believe, has something to contribute to the direction that every author takes. And although you were separated in age, you still had good contact with your family, and yet you probably felt like an only child at times.
I did.
And journaling was a wonderful outlet for you.
Right. It was. It really was.
And all of that writing year after year. When you went to school then, did you migrate toward literature, English, books, or sciences? Where did you head?
Actually, I did not. I went to college, and my major for my undergraduate was criminal justice because I just have this thing for researching and reading. And then I went on to pursue my master's degree in public administration with a concentration in nonprofit because I just enjoy helping people. So nonprofit is an area that you have the ability to be able to help other people.
So academics, you thrived. You enjoyed that atmosphere.
Yes, I did.
Well, that's
thinking about going back, Tony.
Well, congratulations. And you're right, research, learning new things, reading, wow, information you never thought would be available to you.
Right.
And that stimulates the creative process. So writing, when do you find time for that exercise? So you've created 2 books now. You're here to tell us about them. Was Lord Help Me in This Place the first or the second book?
It was the first book, and it has been published now for about 4 years. It was published in 2008.
And so that was your first real experience in delving into the whole history of how to become an author, find a publisher, get published, all of the...
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big job. So the second time, a little easier maybe on
The
that.
second time was much easier because, the first time I learned a lot of things, so the second was much easier. Paint the Town Pink volleyball team.
Different topic.
Is the topic.
Different topic, right? Different approach.
Different, yes. But it's still inspirational. Those are the type of books I like to write, religion, inspirational, anything motivational.
Yeah. So you come from a spiritual Christian background?
Yes.
And that is a part of who you are, and so you enjoy writing in a way that would communicate that faith.
Yes, absolutely.
Characters, fiction, nonfiction, or?
Both nonfiction and fiction.
Yeah, it has a lot of realism.
Yes, the Lord Help Me in This Place it's a really real book because in the book is basically praying and thankful and adoring.
Was there an age group you had in mind?
Lord Help Me in This Place is it's a quick read and it's so simple. A 7-year-old could read it. And that's my intention, to make it simple, not hard, not using big words. I have a master's degree, but that's besides the point. But I wanted to write it and for it to be simple that even a little kid could read it and understand it.
That's awesome. Do you believe the book should have a place in church libraries or pastors, others who are in the service of the Christian faith would benefit?
Absolutely. Church library, women ministry, women group, teen ministry.
In other words, you could buy 20 copies and it would be great for your church study.
It would, yes. Absolutely.
Thought-provoking and then guided through the Scripture.
Absolutely.
Well, what fun was that for you? You must have really enjoyed writing.
I enjoyed writing. I enjoyed really writing. The Lord helped me in this place because, like I said earlier, it was where I was doing journal, and so I got a chance to express myself. It's really a book that I really put my heart into, and so everybody that has read it, that has testified back to me, has said it's a book that they can relate to. It's a book that they really could feel and could tell that I really put my heart into it.
And even you like reading it.
Yes, I love to read it, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's a compliment, really. I mean it in the most sincere way. I've interviewed authors who, they're like, oh, man, they're tired. They just got wore out by the book. But and these are booklets. They're not very big. How many pages?
The Lord Help Me in This Place is about 45 pages. And Paint the Town Pink is 116 pages. And they're both pink, where I'm an advocate for cancer because my father died in 2002 from lung cancer, so that is something that is very important to me, that cause, cancer.
You're gifting a portion of the sale to support.
Yes, for my book sale proceeds, I am giving a percentage of that to a local cancer organization.
I think that's awesome. Certainly that would be a great way for you as an author to, you have synergies between your book and those groups.
Right.
Right. And certainly many of the mega churches have programs for those suffering with cancer because they're so big. They just have such a large membership.
Right.
A niche market, understanding your book and who the target audience is a big help.
Yes.
If you're sci-fi can be a broad category.
Right.
Horror can be a broad category in terms of severity or crossover, so forth, right? So every genre of book, we have to sort of figure out what is it. Well, this is like a devotional. Your method, your faith, what you want to communicate in your books is prompted by spirituality.
Absolutely.
And so a young person, like you said, 7, 8-year, 15-year-old, or an adult would be blessed through the stories that you're telling.
Right. And, with the young people, even they have a lot of pressure. You got the bullying, and, they need something, to help them.
Do you think that you'll end up with a series where you?
Yes. The Paint the Town Pink volleyball team, that will be a series, as well as I'm checking into it becoming, hopefully, a movie one day.
Because in that sequel, you could, of course, bring up or have bullying as a major theme.
Right.
Those who have physical ailments, cancer, physical disabilities, they're the victim of bullying a lot.
Right. Even depression,
Because they think, well, they're helpless.
Right.
But so this type of booklet would really be helpful. What about audience? If you haven't looked yet, go to the website www.yvonneswinger.com. When you get over there, there's a couple videos. You can't watch it right now, but later, be sure to check out the videos. Did you teach yourself how to do this?
The video?
Yeah, the YouTube work.
Actually, I have a very bright son. So he knows everything about computers, so he actually helped me with that project.
Can he come up here and give me a hand? Today it's just amazing what an author can do to communicate a message about their book, the content, the audience, to appeal to them directly through the YouTube and the book trailers. Very much like a commercial, high-powered music and, imagery. So a lot of things at an author's disposal. Then the blogs. Do you have a blog?
Right. Yes, I do have a blog on my website. I'm also part of Author.com as well as WordPress.
And those provide resources and allow you to get out there in a bigger way.
Right. And Twitter. Let's not forget Twitter.
I belong, but I never have time. I think I belong to half a dozen type Facebook sites that haven't been changed since they went into existence. It's a lot.
It is.
To keep up with, right?
Right, and you do have to have time. It's a lot.
How do you do it? You have your son, but do you schedule time? Are you, I get up at 3 a.m. and write for 2 hours. How do you manage it all?
Well, my son and daughter, they're grown, so that's a good part. So I have time in the evenings, which is the best time, when you wind down for your day.
And your husband, he's supportive?
Tony, I don't have a husband.
I didn't get that from your website.
Oh, okay, no.
Okay, just checking, you never know. Riverdale, Georgia.
Right.
There you go. Lovely photographs on your website. And then social networks, like you said, Twitter, Facebook, all that. We can meet people in a way never possible.
Right. Meet people and you never get a chance to see them, but you still can communicate.
Do you think you'll go to any book shows in Atlanta or Florida? Or
I just recently went to the Decatur Books fair that was here in Atlanta about a month and a half ago.
What was that like?
It was really nice. You had all the authors and had their books set up. Wonderful experience. And I do plan on, in the future, being one of those vendors. So look for me.
It's expensive. It's an investment, isn't it?
It is an investment. You have to invest in what you're doing.
And you may do marvelously or you may go broke. You just don't know.
Well, it's a chance you have to take.
And, if you go prepared to say, I'm going to be broke, but I'm going to make sure everyone I see gets a flyer, something to remember me by.
And know my name. And know my book.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or maybe they have it in their hand now. It's not my book, but they have something in their hand that maybe their daughter would like, or their son would like, or their pastor would like, right?
Right.
And so it may not just be them, but how many other people can they convey that blessing to?
Exactly.
So, and a lot of that, it's this perseverance, just really getting out there. And that's why I brought subject up. You really need to be out there
Yeah,
as an
you
author at churches, at libraries,
Right.
at universities, colleges, anywhere you can get up before an audience and introduce yourself and say, this is what I'm about, this is my background, this is what I love, this is why I wrote my books, and this is how they can be a blessing to you and others you know.
Absolutely.
And Yvonne Swinger, thank you so much for being our guest on Authors First. Tony Kay in the studio. And we're just covering the ground here, the groundwork of what it takes. You have a life, you have an education, a bachelor's, a master's, you're a professional, you've raised your children, and yet the Spirit of God compelled you to apply this other skill of writing and to begin doing something. And it's not about, well, it's 300 pages long or it's a New York Times bestseller. No, it's about I have something to contribute on a spiritual topic that can be a gift to others.
Right.
So congratulations, sister.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for the opportunity.
And thanks for working so hard to put it all together. Perseverance, a great idea in a drawer doesn't produce much.
That's true. That is so true.
Oh, I've had this idea for a book. Oh, it's a great book. Let me tell you. I got the story. If only I could write it all. But you know, you have to begin that journey.
Right.
And lay it out. Did the material for you come rather spontaneously, or had you outlined a direction you wanted to take?
It actually came spontaneously. I'll start writing, and then whenever something comes to me, then I'll pick up the pen and write again, and it pretty much went that way each time.
Wow.
Knew absolutely nothing about volleyball, so I did have to study that a little bit.
Well, or it could be incidental. You don't have to know much at all, really, other than there's a game going on, and these are the people playing, and then move on somewhere else. But yeah, I think it's important for an author to research and know something about geography. Where's it at? Time? You know, what's the setting? And certainly if it involves a sport, you want to have, a cursory knowledge of that. So research is something you enjoy doing.
I do. I absolutely love to research. You learn so much, and I'm just one that loves to learn. I love to learn as well as teach others something that they don't know. And so I am